Hello guys, Craig from Fix It Fellows, and today I'm with the LEVC TXE, and today I'm changing the rear discs and pads. Let me take you through it. Right, there we go, there's the new disc, and we need to get the old disc off. Now, this threw me for ages, because you look at this disc, and it looks very different from that one. Okay, that's 5 holes, and one for the little retaining screw there. And this is what, 10 holes? Yeah, it threw me for ages, but this bit here is actually a spacer. Okay, so held in by these 17mm headed bolts here. They screw through and hold that disc in place. Now you do need a thin walled 17mm socket to get in there. A conventional socket won't get in, but you need a thin walled 17mm socket to get in there. These are actually just exactly the same as these studs. Okay, they're just a second set that hold it on. So that comes off and it reveals a disc just like that one. The other thing with this, obviously, it's got an electronic handbrake or parking brake, which is this unit here. Okay, the cable that operates it is this plug here. I'll show you how to release that. But there is a spare parking brake. Okay, let me just explain to you how it works. So inside this bit there's a motor. You have a connector there. Okay, 2 pins in there. It just gets a power feed, positive and minus, and the onboard computer reverses the polarity as and when it's required, either for turning the motor one way or the other. So that's all it is. There's just 12 volts goes to that. You can actually power this yourself if you was to put a couple of wires down there attached to a 9-volt square battery or anything like that, or a 12-volt battery that you've got. You would actually cause this motor to turn, which in turn turns this mechanism here. Okay, now that just rotates, and what that does is it puts a screw kind of inside the piston, pushes the piston onto the pads, which locks the brake disc. Hence, that's how your electronic parking brake works. But as you know, when we're changing pads, we need to send the piston back in, and that can't be done if the screw inside the piston is still engaged. Okay, no amount of pushing will retract that piston in, so we have to wind back the electronic parking brake. Now, if you've got a scan tool that goes into your OBDII port, there's every chance that you'll have a facility on there to put your parking brake into maintenance position, which rewinds it all the way off. Just simply turning your handbrake off doesn't pull that screw all the way back. It just releases the pads enough to allow the disc to spin. Okay, so either you've got an OBDII port tool, or you can do it manually. You can disconnect this plug, put wires in and power it manually and reverse the screw out. The other option, which I'm going to show you how to do, is to remove this parking brake. That reveals a multi-splined headed bolt on the back of the caliper, which we can just wind and wind and wind, and that will take the parking brake fully off. But anyway, I'm going to get on with it and I can show you it in practice. So if we're going to remove this parking brake unit here, what we actually do, first of all, we want to release the handbrake. So you want to put some chocks on your wheels, or bricks or chocks, whatever you got, to stop the vehicle from rolling. Now, the reason why we're going to disengage the handbrake is because when the handbrake is engaged, the motor inside here and the gear mechanism is under tension as it's pushing on the screw through the piston, which in turn is pushing on the pads, which in turn pushing on the disc. So when you come to take the various bolts off that hold this unit in place, the whole thing's under tension and it makes the job a bit more difficult. So what we're going to do, we're going to release the handbrake. That releases all the tension, take the unit off, and then we'll wind back that screw inside the piston manually. Okay, right, parking brake is off and there is now a bit of movement in the disc, you see. Okay, now we can look to remove this. Right, as you can see on this unit that I already had off the vehicle, there's 2 fixings. They are 5mm hex head bolts, but before we can get them off, we just have to unclip a cover that goes over the top of this. So you can see there's these tabs all the way around here. Okay, there's just tabs that pull off, and it's just a cover that goes on. But also you will have to remove this plug. Now, before you detach this plug, disconnect your 12-volt battery in the boot and let the system's power down. Now, to remove this plug, we just prise up the yellow bit. And as that comes up, we can now pull the plug off. As you pull the plug off, your dashboard will say parking brake cannot hold, okay, because the onboard computer has now decided that's off. So to prevent any error messages in the vehicle, before you detach this plug, disconnect your 12 volt battery in the boot and let the systems power down. Now from this point on, I'm going to be showing you how to remove the parking brake manually, but you could, if you wanted to, put power into this socket. Alternatively, if you go to the link in the description, I do sell a plug that you can attach and then attach the wires to a battery. This will save you having to poke wires in and hoping to get a good connection. Okay, now with that off, with the plug detached, we can now unclip this plastic cover. Just get into all the different tabs. As you see, it comes away as far as the loom will allow, but that will allow you now to get access to the 5mm head bolts. Okay, there's the second 5mm bolt out, and now you can just pull away the parking brake. Okay, having removed the parking brake unit, it reveals this torque spindle. We need to wind that to retract it out of the piston. So I will be using this female torque socket. This is an E11, but if you don't have an E11 torques, you can use a 9mm conventional socket, which will also work just like this one. Let me show you. Take that one off. You see that one engages as well. So if we do it anti-clockwise, oh yeah, that's engaged the brake completely. Now we do it clockwise, and we'll wind it all the way until that screw is fully retracted. That's fully retracted now, and that will allow us to push the piston back in. Now from this point on, it's just a conventional pad change, or pad removal and caliper removal. So I'm just going to try and push that piston back a little bit. Yeah. Into the body of the caliper. I don't mind doing it with a screwdriver and prising it because I'm changing the disc. I'm not that bothered about damaging the front of the disc because I'm changing it. But had I not have wound off that parking brake, we would not have been able to push that in. Now we just need to remove the caliper. Okay, so there's these springs here and here that I've got to remove. That's just a little bit of prising with a screwdriver, like so. Springs out, so that should, see, that's removed all the tension on the caliper. We can now remove these plugs from here, which reveal the slide pins, and they will be a 7mm hex, like so. One out. There's the other out, so it's always a good idea to give them a bit of a clean up and put a bit of silicone grease on those. And as you can see, the caliper lifts away. And now we're done with the caliper for the moment. Let's just put that over somewhere safe where it won't fall, like that. And we can take that brake pad out. So the pad at the back was the ones with the springs on the top, okay? Pad at the back, spring at the top. And the other pad is there. Okay, so now we need to remove the caliper cradle, and it's bolted around the back there by two 15mm bolts, okay, there and there. So it's just a case of breaking them off, and then this cradle can come away, and then that will leave us with the disc. Okay, so there are the two bolts out of the back of the caliper cradle. Now there was a lot of thread lock on those, so they was very difficult to get them undone if they've never been undone since the factory. So now they're out, I'm going to heat this up and clean off this old residue of thread lock and clean out the threads in the caliper, which will enable me to fit them and take them off in the future a bit more easily. Okay, so now that's all off, we can now get these nuts off of here. Okay, as I said before, these are 17mm, but it has to be thin wall. Okay, thin wall gets in there, normal one doesn't. Okay, as as you can see, they are just the same as your wheel nuts. And now you can see that's a space that comes away to reveal a conventional disc. So we've got to undo this Torx bolt there, and then that disc can come off. Okay, so that's a T30. Unscrew that out of there. And now you can just wobble the disc off. Okay, this is actually the same as you get on Volvo XC60 and XC90s. So if you don't source it from LEVC, you can source them from a Volvo part. Considerably cheaper. I mean, I actually found one place doing Volvo discs for £65 for the pair. So it really doesn't have to be an expensive job. Right, so I'm just going to give this a clean up with a wire brush. Clean out the threads inside of here. Clean up the threads on the bolts, and we can put everything back on. Right, okay, now we can put the disc on. I've given that a clean up with a wire brush, and now we offer the disc on, like so. Line up the Torx hole. Sure it's seated correctly. Okay, now we can offer back on the spacer, and I have also cleaned off the back of this quite a bit, so that offers on like that. We just line that up with the stud holes there. We'll do these back up. Okay, I've just cleaned out inside the cradle where the pads sit with a wire brush, and we can now offer this back into position. We can now offer the pads back in, so the sprung pad goes at the back, like that. This one here, and we can now take the caliper, and it should go back on. I think we've pushed that back in far enough. Yep, that goes back on. And we now put our slide pins back on, and I'm going to clean these up a little bit and put a little bit of silicone grease on them. There we are, they're nice and clean and bright. I just use a very, very high grade wet and dry, give them a very light rub and all the dirt come off. And now I'm just going to use some of this silicone grease just to lube these up a little bit. Just put a little bit around there. Some people use copper grease. I've found silicone grease to be a better option. So we'll get that in there, that's that one engaged. There's that one in. That's that one done up. And that one. Put the caps back over. Right, okay, so pads are in, calipers on, all's good. Now we need to put the parking brake sort of spindle back to kind of where it was. Now, where it was just off of being engaged. So you take your socket and we're going to wind it to engaged. You might find a bit of resistance because of the piston being pushed all the way back, so I'm just going to use a ratchet, just go at it gently. The piston's going back, all the calipers moving. You need to take it to the point at which the piston rotates, which is now, and then I'm going to back it off a couple of turns. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to smear a little bit of silicone around on the inside of here because there is a rubber seal on the back of the caliper. And that is a case of now matching back up the 6 splines of the Torx in here with the 6 splines of the Torx on there. So you might need to move the spindle ever so slightly to get it to re-engage. So let's hold that out of the way and offer it on. Yeah, all good. Like that, and then we can put our hex bolts back in. Okay, now the parking brake is back on. We can now put this plastic cage back over, so it's just a case of clipping all of the tabs back into situ, and then we can reconnect the cable. So that pushes in, and as it pushes in you can push down the yellow lock ring, and that's all done. Okay, now at this point you can re-engage your 12 volt battery in the boot, and then when you put the ignition on it should re-engage the handbrake. All good. So if you hadn't have disengaged 12 volt battery in the boot, the onboard computer would have recognised that you detached the plug. Okay, now we need to put the spring back in, so we put one end in into that hole there, line this end up with the hole there whilst pulling down. Okay, spring is on. Right, there you go, the 12 volt battery is connected in the boot, and I've turned the ignition on and the car has recognised that everything is good. The parking brake has re-engaged. As you can see, it can engage and disengage all fine, so I can get this wheel back on and I can go to do the other side now. Now obviously when I go to do the other side I'm going to have to jack the vehicle up, chock the wheels, disengage the handbrake again, take the 12 volt battery off to go through the same process. If you don't take the 12 volt battery off, the computer will be monitoring connections and it will know that you've disconnected this, and it will throw a hissy fit, and you will need an OBDII reader to clear the fault. So anyway, there you go guys, thanks for watching. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos, and I shall see you again very soon. Cheers, bye bye.